And they can now see us and hear us, which is
Oh my gosh.
which is how this works.
Regrettable.
Regrettable.
Easy for them.
Hello.
Yeah, for them, not for us.
There's people in the channel. Hello. If there's people watching this later, hello to you too.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, people in the interwebs.
Hello.
So yeah, hello. Just gonna
You.
say hello to everybody.
Like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell.
Exactly. Like, subscribe, and leave a review. Man, I swear, I did that for so long when we started podcasting. At the end, it would be like, yeah, please drop this, drop that, drop a review here, drop a review there. It really does actually help if you drop like reviews on Apple Podcasts and stuff. But this is an on-Apple podcast. We're on Twitch, and eventually we'll be on YouTube. So we're going to be playing our damn well better be our last Heart session tonight.
We're gonna see how long we can stretch this out by never.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are we
combat.
gonna last? Because as soon as if any of us uses our Zenith ability, it's over for us, isn't it?
Not necessarily. It depends on the Zenith
Okay.
ability. Some people, like, they can come back. Plus, one of Duvace's Zeniths, if she chooses to pick it. Because all of you have achieved the beats, so it's just a matter of when you trigger your abilities. Duvace's got, like, a res, so... And then, so if she wants to do that, like to create, but it's like a weird res where you become like a shadow puppet and stuff like that. But hey, that could be fun.
Oh no.
So yeah, but we're gonna finish it tonight. We got to, because I've got Veston scheduled for next week, so we gotta do this now. But I am looking forward to playing this again somewhere in the next couple of months. I don't know when. So let's do quick plugs. Chuck, Defenders of Cobalt. What do you guys got this week?
Oh my gosh. Wednesday, we have Joe's game. It's SCP that the young kids are playing, but we're running it as a DCC funnel. Friday, we've got the Bloody Marches, our Zweihander campaign over on twitch.tv/ZweihanderRPG.
Sure.
And then Friday, we're kicking off our DCC Hex Crawl that I'm pulling out of the Phylactery zine from Planet X Games. And Jeff, you're in that.
Is that Friday or Saturday?
That's Saturday.
Okay, Saturday. I was like, shit, that's Friday? Uh-oh.
No. Friday is Zweihander.
Okay, yeah.
Saturday is DCC.
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to that, because
It's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
We've been doing like the collaborative world building docs, so that's going to be fun.
Yeah,
to see
I've
how these
been
things work out.
compiling that and assembling stories, and it'll be good.
Yeah. Yep.
It'll be fun. So yeah, that's DOK for the week.
Awesome. Matt, what's going on with Grim Imperials?
I've got my game on Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time on twitch.tv/ZweihanderRPG. And we have the wrestling show on Wednesday at 5:30 Central Standard Time. We have the Lollygaggers with the Unsettled Stem on Thursday night at 9 p.m. Central. And like Chuck mentioned, we have the Defenders of Cobalt Friday night at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time.
Look at this guy. Let's see, what else do we have? We're playing on Friday. I think it's Friday. We're gonna over on this channel, on our channel, we're gonna finish up a 2-part Electric Bashland adventure about meat and cheese and the horrifying things that are underneath the factory in that place. Yeah, we did that. We did a first. We did a part 1. So we got part 2 coming. I think that's Friday. I'll have to double check it. We're still a ways off before we can do our Mutineer Zero again, because our one of our guys, he's a nurse and his schedule's pretty crazy right now. So we'll get back to it soon, though. But other than that, Thursday for us, and we released episode 52 this morning of our podcast, our Zweihander podcast. So search for Adventures in Lollygagging. Melissa and I playing that.
A lot happened in that episode.
Man, that was an exhausting episode. That was towns getting overrun. I mean, like the party split. So much fun. But anyway, let's get to this Heart game tonight. So let's do a quick summary. You all, last time, you were finally made it to the Heart, and you all had bizarre experiences while you're in the Heart, separate from each other. You kind of all were given glimpses of various experiences and various things that have happened or will happen or something like that. Seems to indicate some conflict between these like red creatures, these large red giants that inhabit the Heart itself, and some kind of reptilian type species that Kethras knows as like librarians and whatnot. And so there seems to be some kind of conflict between the two, and through your various visions and various experiences, all of you were basically recruited or drafted to do something to help these red giant folks. When you got out of your visions, you found yourselves on a concourse leading up to a very large set of stairs that led then to some kind of building that Kethras would know as his library. And there was a door that went back to the heart behind you, but it seems to have depowered, meaning there's no way out. And there was this long concourse. There's all these different statues on either side, statues of like reptilian folk that are wearing similar robes that we've seen before with some librarians. There's darkness all to the right and to the left. And then almost as if it's right when you arrived, you can see on the ground like these charred corpses of yourselves. And you are now in some other version of yourselves. All of you are kind of being haunted or guided or like as like a shoulder piece or a shadow by some component of like a red creature from the heart, as if they're kind of like your shadow for a bit. And then while you got here, the door depowered. All of a sudden, the security of the location was activated, and a whole mess load of librarians and such came running down those steps with these two hippopotamus-sized lizards that started attacking you. You managed to kill one of those big old lizards, and then as this was going on, an even bigger creature started stumbling down. So whereas we'll call them adolescents, are about hippo size, the adult seems to be more like whale size. And there's this giant whale creature. It's not actually a whale. It's the size of a whale. That is between you and this building. And Zerk called upon the power of the mechanical bull herd once more for old time's sake. And they come storm out of the shadows and started to distract this big old creature. And so that big old creature is currently occupied by dozens and dozens of big old mechanical bulls. You still have a few of these librarians and one of these big old hippos.
And we just can't seem to successfully attack.
Yeah, pretty much. So, and how's everyone doing on there? How's everyone doing on Fallout? What are we looking at on Fallout? How bad is it?
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
I'm still at 1 minor, but it's broken
Yeah, me
arm, so it's made my chance of succeeding on anything go way down. So
Okay.
I'm blind.
I'm pretty much on same situation. We're both on like a roller coaster for failure
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah.
I got 1 minor, but it's that you have to roll dangerous, risky, and then back to standard. So I'm
Right.
still working my way through that.
So the big question then is whether or not you all are going to leave this campaign via a critical fallout or via your apex or zenith ability. So, hey Jeff, I wasn't talking to myself. There's another Jeff and Joe. Okay,
Sure.
Yes, he was.
we're really just the same person. Okay, so let's start it up. You guys are still surrounded. You've managed to take out one of these big creatures, and in doing so, you do recall that it did seem like those librarians were like there were a handful of librarians that were kind of like attached to them somehow. There's this weird kind of blue crystalline thing in the backs and the spines of these little hippopotamus-sized lizards that allowed them to kind of just disappear into some kind of gas. I'm gonna turn that down a little bit. It's a little too low. So. The good news is that big creature, the whale-sized creature, is being distracted by all these mechanical bulls. What all would you like to do? We'll say some of the librarians was also sort of to turn around and try to go help out that giant creature, but you're still left with a somewhat wounded hippopotamus-sized basilisk and a couple of these librarians who are still looking to shoot these completely ripped-off Stargate weapons at you.
So the reason we used the distraction, remind me here, guys, was because we saw a doorway on the other side of the big creature, right? And I
That's
used
correct.
that as a distraction to try and run past it or get around
You
it.
certainly could
Yeah.
try to do
Yeah.
that. There's
Remind
darkness
me
off
again,
to the right and the left, but you don't know what goes there either. Sorry, Joe.
what are the effects of being downed? Because that's the state I'm in right now.
The injury?
Yeah, the major fallout.
Let me pull it up for you really quick.
You're dead. Have a good night, Joe.
It's I don't know why you logged in. It's kind of weird. Was that blood? Did I give you blood?
Yeah.
Downed. You can't move under your own power, and you're barely clinging on to consciousness. You can be moved around by others, but without medical attention, you're not going anywhere. This can be upgraded to the critical fallout dying.
It could get
Upgraded.
worse.
I've been there before.
How can we downgrade it instead? I assume we're at the point where we can't downgrade anything.
Well, normally downgrading Fallout is a haunt specific thing. You have not yet fully explored this landmark to find if there's any potential things inside that could help with that. Duvase has got a few mend abilities, but that's mostly for stress, unless there's something I don't know about, Melissa. But yeah, right now the big thing looks distracted.
I can mend blood with my Physicker's back.
And can you do Fallout as well?
No.
Okay, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So the big thing's distracted. The little thing's still kind of... all of you are still back by the door to the heart, the entrance to the heart, hiding behind statues. A couple of those statues have been tipped over or pulled down from the ceiling. What do you guys want to do?
Can we all pile on and attack as one to try and overcome that risky?
Sure. You can do, whenever you do like assists, whenever you try to do that, you gain extra die. So if you guys are teaming up multiple...
If you want, I can be the person who makes the attack, because I think I have both the skills, and I get to roll a higher die size with my attacks.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay. And some of you have got some good items too. I remember a few of you looted some like D10s and some D12 items from our battle with the administrator in the Undertrench. I think that was Tarnished and Zerk. I think didn't you guys get good items?
Yeah, mine have already been mostly consumed at this point.
I have an administrator's gavel, which is a D10.
I'm hoping to knock these guys down so we can try and recover some materials from them without having to abandon our progress here.
Okay, so and again, there's a good football field between where the mechanical bulls and the big one are kind of messing about and where you guys are. So if you were to manage to take out the ones in front of you, then it's not like you're in immediate danger. Pretty close to it, but not yet. So
just a layout check again. So the doorway is where all of these things are coming out of, but there's also things to the right and the left that we could possibly hightail it to that aren't where these things are coming from.
Imagine like the entrance to the heart, the depowered entrance to the heart's at your back. There's a long concourse with statues on either side, some of which you've knocked over. On that concourse, you've got a smaller sized hippopotamus lizard thingy with a bunch of people in robes attacking you all. Darkness to the right and to the left. Big old creature about 150 yards in front of you with a bunch of mechanical pulls harassing it. And then there are stairs that lead up to a building at the very top. That's where you're at.
So who wants to help me try and hit this guy?
I will.
Yeah, I'm stuck on dangerous for my roll, so I'm not the best.
You can assist.
Well, if you're assisting...
No, I'll assist.
Assist.
What do you need to assist?
Yeah.
What's the what do you need to assist with? What's the things you need to pull on? Skill and domain.
Whatever skill that, or domain he's using. In this case, it's going to be Kill Wild. I'll also accept Kill Tech, because you guys can see that on the spines themselves, where the gems are, there does seem to be some kind of mechanical metallic aperture.
I've got Kill and Wild to help you out.
Yep, I've got Kill and Tech.
Okay.
Now I'm still with Zerk, because Zerk, you dragged me off to safety.
Yep.
I would like to. Hey Zerk, if shit gets wild, and I'll go ahead and pull the where's it at? The
Have
thrown,
Zerk point you at it.
I'll pull the thrown bombs that I have in my bag, and hey, if you want to chuck these.
Oh, I thought you were making a suicide pact. Okay, sure.
Oh no, I don't want that to happen.
I'm putting my mouth as you speak. Oh, he's blind. He can't see me.
Yeah, you're fine. No embarrassment there. But yeah, if you want to throw them, that's fine, because I can't see.
I can try.
Okay.
I mean, what's the worst that happens? We all die.
Yeah.
I mean,
That is the
Yeah.
worst.
the normal worst that can happen.
That's
Worse.
exactly it.
It just turns into a talk, crit, get shit, whatever the hell the thing was this episode. That's all we do
Yeah,
for the rest
yeah.
of the night.
That's it.
All right, so who is doing something?
Dan's making an attack. I'm assisting.
Okay. So Dan, you're charging in. You have a broken arm. You got your shield. You're charging in. How are
I
you
have a sword
assisting?
also, so
All right.
I don't know if using my non-broken arm is useful enough to not take the penalty I have.
You can use your broken arm. It just means it hurts really bad. So,
I mean, if I
I
use
would
my
say-
not broken arm,
I would say if you're using your not broken arm, that's the one that's the shield's on, right? So it means you got to drop your shield, though.
well, I
I
was.
feel like that.
Is it? Because I thought I got.
Is your
whacked-
broken arm holding?
I got
a
whacked
door-sized
taking
shield?
Do you have 3
I got
arms?
whacked. Just 2. I got whacked taking the hit for Duvesa last time, so I assumed my shield arm is what got broken.
I'm fine with that. If you want to do that, we can do that instead.
Okay.
Sure. Okay. So your shield's kind of hanging a little bit low as
I
it's
assume
clinging
it's not
to a
so useful
broken-
anymore.
Yeah, it's hard to lift that giant car
Kicking it
door.
along at the bottom when you walk.
Okay. So you're gonna charge in to make the attack. Kethras, how are you helping him? How does this look? Let's paint a picture.
I can do my spirit stuff to try and distract.
Okay.
I guess.
So the spirit shows up behind like the big hippopotamus,
Yeah.
just like blowing in its ear, and then here comes
Yeah.
Tarnished.
Yeah.
All right, Tarnished. So we've got kill, wild, or tech if you prefer, because I know
Yep.
you have tech.
I got 3 by myself.
Okay, one from Kethras, so that's 4, and it's at risky, so which means it's gonna automatically drop the highest one that you roll, and then you take the second highest.
Except it's not risky for me, so
Okay, go ahead and roll it.
because I've got that perk
Okay.
since I've hit him. So
Perfect.
yay!
All right.
Yay!
All right, awesome.
Oh, good. I was a little worried about that.
So no stress is really good. So you come in, you come charging in. The thing whips around as it hears the strange echo of something behind it, and it sees the spectral form of Kethras begins to chomp at it ineffectually. You come up while it's turned, smash into it. Roll your damage.
Let me take my D6 of fortune stress real quick so I can stick the fortune tag on it. That is not enough, so let me add my dice damage.
Okay.
I'm curious, is this thing significantly larger than myself?
Yes.
Okay. Yay. Because then I get to roll a D10, I think.
Oh.
That's a shame.
Mhm,
That's a
mhm.
shame. That's a
Wow.
shame. It's 300
Business
points
as
for a
usual.
reroll. So I mean, 300 bits for a reroll. You could always do that, but that's a shame because that's
Business as usual.
that's unfortunately not going to, unless you have piercing. Do you have piercing?
It has piercing.
Okay, it does actually bypass its protection, but it is not enough damage to kill it, so it's still thrashing around, unfortunately.
And this is a pretty big thing that we need to get past.
You could try to run away from it if you guys want. There's always evade tests. There's always running off into the darkness and hoping for the best, but
I'm
yeah.
thinking we can just, if this is going to help us get away, I can just go ahead and blow my reroll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, your ability. Yeah, it's just ability, so.
Well, we could always do another attack.
It's
and
certainly
then
within
if
kill
that
range.
comes up shit, then we can re-roll that instead.
If it was an average damage roll, it would have probably killed him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just use it.
You sure?
Yep.
All right, Dan. There
All
you
right,
go.
there we go.
That is
There we go.
enough.
That's better.
And you will see as you carve like right under its neck, it'll kind of flop down to the ground. You can see the apparatus along the spine begins to sort of like constrict and move a little bit, and suddenly the little bits of blue crystals begin to give off this bluish smoke. And you can see the librarians that seem to be connected to it start to shudder a bit, and eventually their robes just drop to the ground. They got these staves that just fall down and clatter, and for the moment, you have you're temporarily not engaged. So for a moment, you can see that there's stuff in the distance, but this little platoon of two hippos and a bunch of librarians is now defeated. So you have a moment to catch your breath before you decide what you want to do.
Help!
Okay.
I've fallen and I can't get up.
Yeah.
I need
I'd
someone
like to
to
try
carry
and-
me.
Look around for some stuff that we can recover off these things we've murdered.
Okay, so you can scrounge a few things. Let's see. The basilisks that you have, you can see, especially the one that you just killed, Tarnished, as you kind of cut through its neck. You reach inside, you can see this pulsing, kind of bluish and metallic organ of some kind that you reach out. It's a mechanized gland. It's a D10. It's a D10 one-use kill item with spread. So it's like a grenade.
Oh wow! All right.
So you can do that. There are scales that you could pull off. Like you can pull off a big scale that could be carried like a shield as a block item. And then the librarians, they've got these energy truncheons that are kill D8, ranged, and debilitating. So they're kill D8 items.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know
I'll
if
take
you
one of
guys
those.
want any of that stuff.
So that's stuff that's usable. There's a couple other things in terms of resources. There is each one of these librarians, when you kind of go over to them, you realize that what's left of them is just some husk, some dried husk, and whatever kind of energy evaporated from them just left something behind. There are these third eyes, these mechanical third eyes that have been adhered into the foreheads. Those are D6 occult resources. And there's also some repurposed skin that are cursed in religion items. So
What are they also D6s? or-
D8, excuse me.
Okay. I could sure use some cursed skin flaps.
Okay. So you quickly start to
activate my ability.
scavenge as much as you can, and then what? As you look forward, you can see that the endless stream of mechanical bulls is actually starting to get beat back a little bit by this giant creature. You don't have a ton of time before you imagine it wants to do something else.
Run.
Are we right into
Run!
the building? Do we want to
Yes.
explore?
Nope.
Okay. You
Running
can.
straight ahead.
So if you're trying to get past this crazy melee, this huge creature and these small things, you can either do evade, as if you're trying to get by without being detected, or you could do endures if you're just kind of running through the herd and hoping for the best. So preferences. And you don't have to make it. You all can choose whichever way you want. You don't have to necessarily do it.
I would do endure.
Yeah,
Okay.
for me it's gonna have to be endure.
All right. So the two of you are just running through. So go ahead and roll endure, wild, or tech.
Standard.
Yep.
Dirk, how you doing this?
I don't know. I have
There we go.
both.
I'll forge
Um,
the way here.
Wow.
I'm gonna follow your lead, whichever way it goes. You muted?
Bob left and right and weave.
Zig
I do this
and
at
zag.
dangerous.
I do too,
Oh,
because I'm blind.
is someone taking Joe's character with us?
Oh, we got to
Yeah,
drag him
sure.
too?
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah.
he did ask one of you guys to carry him.
You did. I'm helping the
Mhm.
blind man. Somebody help
Yeah.
Okay.
the legless
if,
man.
If we want, we can throw him on me, and hopefully my critical success will be sufficient.
You
The
wear
man
him
with
like a
broken
mink.
legs. Pick him up. Yes.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Let's do dangerous rolls check.
We're doing, what is this, evade and...
If you're trying to stealth past,
Yeah.
you can do evade, cursed. If you're trying to just push through, it's endure and then wild or tech.
I'm gonna do an evade cursed, which I have neither of.
Are there
I'm just
any? You said there's lights all around that are.
Yeah, there's these like floating lights, these floating blue lights all over the place.
I have an ability that I haven't been able to use the entire game that says I can mute lights temporarily.
Okay,
So can I do that as a assist?
sure. Go ahead and Chuck and Matt, why don't you roll another D10 since you'll have an assist die and see if it's any better than the 2 or the 5.
It's better.
Okay,
It's better.
Take a 6.
That's
It's
a-
a
that's a
pass now.
pass with stress. Yeah,
Oh, I got a
Yes!
nine.
there you
better.
go. Pass with no
Nice.
stress.
Nice.
Okay, so Matt.
Sweet.
Nice time to pull that out.
So as they blink out, everything gets really, really dark all of a sudden. The only thing you can really see are these glistening blue gems that occasionally swirl around in the spine of this massive creature. You can also see like the glowing reflection on some of these bulls. But Matt, as you're trying to sneak past, just unfortunate bad luck as a tail just comes swirling past, taking out a couple of the statues, and then it hits you as well. You go ahead and take, 3 points of damage. We'll call it blood.
It's not terrible.
I eat all of it.
Do you mark it?
I don't take any
You don't
because
take
I'm on
any?
the
Okay.
whatever tier of the heart or whatever.
Perfect.
It's my resistance.
Perfect. Okay, so you make it to this staircase, and you can see as you look up, a lot of it's been trampled as this giant whale creature came down it, and so half that zigzagging staircase is still intact, but there's gaps here and there where stone has just been completely smushed, and you can see like a small little avalanche has formed with a big pile of stone on the ground, but still easily traversable. It is now dark, however, so it's a little bit more difficult to kind of keep up with everybody, but all of you are able, we'll say, to make it to the top, still hearing the thundering sounds of the creatures behind you. When you get to the top of the staircase and you look forward, you can see that light actually starts to emerge from these different windows and door frames of this terrace. Imagine there's a series of columns, all looks quite beautiful, reflective, almost marble-like, and you can see this door in front of you it doesn't seem to be made out of any sort of physical material. Instead, it just seems like this bluish energy that's blocking the path forward. And you can see that the same is true for about 3 windows to the right and 3 windows to the left. There doesn't really seem to be any way to go around the building. When you get up to the top, you also notice that there's really only one big floor, and then that you can see what looks like the ceiling of whatever cavern that this place is built inside. So, what do you want to do?
Can I try and stick my radar fork into it?
Okay. As you stick the radar fork into it and you pull it back out, you can see that the radar fork has completely disintegrated the parts at which that went through. So you now.
Did it give me a reading at least?
I'm gonna say you can drop the die level of the radar fork. Radar fork. Radar fork. One step.
Okay.
Yeah. So. Need to
Don't walk in there.
Yeah.
I'll say.
What else can we do?
Take one of Joe's broken legs and put it into the.
This is certainly some form of tech, so if somebody would like to try to look at it more carefully and roll a discern tech, you might be able to figure out a way inside.
I can do
That's not
that
me.
for us.
Okay, discern tech, go for it. Standard's
See
fine.
if Mr. Vermissian's up to snuff today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this a place that I've been before? Would I have any familiarity with this?
I would say you have some familiarity with it. Not necessarily. It's probably one of those situations where you were like hooded or something when you were brought into specific locations.
Okay.
And so you might know some things once you get inside, but the specific path's not as clear. Only 1 point of echo stress back to you, Tarnished.
I can handle that. I have 2 protection.
Perfect. But you start messing around. You don't see, like, there's no real panel, but you start to notice there's this metallic frame to the door that has these little notches. And as you start kind of hitting them here and there, they begin to light up. And you start playing around with different patterns until one of them seems to work out. And suddenly the blue light dissolves. And you have an open doorway into...
Excellent. My next plan was just start hitting it with stuff.
I mean, that's always a good plan, I think. Just hit stuff with it.
Real quick too, I want to use absorb memories once per session. When I'm in a location with a domain I do not possess, I can use this power to gain access to it for the end of the session or until the end of the session.
Perfect.
And I want to grab technology.
Sounds good. Okay, so the door opens up. You can see that there's more of those floating, moving mage lights that just seem to be moving about, almost like large fireflies. Reveals a fairly pedestrian-looking library with just row after row after row of something. It's very dark otherwise, with the exception of these moving lights. There doesn't seem to be any immediate guard on the inside that you could see. Likely they're part of the greeting committee down there. But you can see that there's a fairly large dome or vaulted ceiling when you immediately step in. A variety of tables and chairs and a couple rooms to the left and to the right as well, some of which seem to be just completely dark.
Okay. So if we give it like a good listen, you don't hear anybody moving around or.
If you give it a good listen, you would probably hear voices and footsteps here or there.
Okay. Not necessarily alone then.
Yeah, it's not completely empty, but there doesn't seem to be anyone at the front door.
Okay. Do we want to try and just skirt around the outside of it maybe? And
Let's just go.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it.
Just
Evasa
book
wants
it.
to bring up the rear and listen to kind of what's happening to all of the things that were chasing us.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have they turned tail and are they coming?
Nothing
back
was
this way,
chasing
or
you.
What's going on?
You took care of the
They were just
groups that
running
were
out.
attacking you. The only thing that was really left outside was that massive whale-sized basilisk, the Zerk's herd of mechanical bulls, and a
It's
few
distracting.
and
Okay.
a few other librarians that seem to be with the big creature.
Okay, just want to make sure that we're not going to get something on our 6.
I'm not saying
wanna
you're
use-
not, but
Yeah, I want to use twisting territory here. So once per situation, you can ask the GM who's in charge of the immediate area around you by smell, sight, or some other esoteric sense. You gain an intuitive understanding of the apex predator or alpha creature, whether it's a person or beast in the local area.
yeah, it's pretty overpowering to your senses as you immediately get the feeling that despite the size of the creature out front, there is something even bigger in this area. You're not sure where. It's almost all around you. It's like as if every which way, every direction, point, look, there's something even bigger, and it has the same kind of odor that these other large basilisk creatures has. It's just bigger and more pronounced. Probably to the point where you might be like, it's like burning your nose or something like that. But it's everywhere, below you most predominantly.
oh no.
I'll let everybody know.
Bad news bears right there.
Mm-hmm.
But
I
You know,
think
maybe
we're
it's
gonna
so
subway
big.
train him.
that it won't notice us.
Perhaps.
Maybe.
I realized that one of my zenith abilities is probably not usable at this point in the game. So
Got 3 to choose from.
it requires that the party be outside of a landmark,
This
which
is-
I'm pretty sure is not where we are.
This
right
is
now.
unfortunately a landmark right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are in a landmark. Okay. So where do we want to go? So lots of rows of books and other things. You'd have to go down them to get a better look of it. A lot of rooms off to the right and to the left that seem to be powered down or dark. Or you can just generally explore some more. But that's what you immediately see when you enter.
I'm game for working around the outside, just to hopefully be seen less. But
Well, we don't actually know what we're down here for, right?
nope.
So the general, Kethras has one specific task that he was given from the administrator. Other than that, you're not really sure yet. You just know that you were sent here by the heart for reasons.
And I had a question about that administrator flash drive thing that I have. Could I tell, did that seem to be someone that was allied with the library, or?
Definitely didn't seem like they were allies. No.
Okay.
Yeah. It definitely seemed a more acrimonious relationship.
Is there
Okay.
one of their computers that we could plug it into here, possibly?
Yeah. I want to try and find like a terminal or something.
Okay.
We could plug that in, see what it does.
Okay, so as you start spreading out, looking around a bit, you peek into some of these small rooms, and you can see they do appear to be like little laboratories and offices of such. You can see that there are terminals that are set up that seem to have all sorts of strange data on them, different displays. They power in when you walk inside. They have like automatic lights. Some of the
So
rows as well. When some of you start moving down some of the rows, you can start seeing that there are all sorts of books for sure, but there's also tons of specimens in jars that are alien and confusing. You can see that some of them are moving.
Is there any Morthos specimens? Yeah.
Not in the immediate area. There are, as you look to the left and to the right, there's got to be 100+ rows to look through. You also notice that there is a stairwell, this curly stairwell that's going down.
Okay. Well, shall we all convene on Kethras to do his thing, or shall we all wait for him?
Yeah, I'm gonna need someone to bring me over to a computer.
Oh, I will take him over to a computer. I forgot I'm carrying him around.
Yeah. Someone needs to spend some supply stress and get a wheelbarrow and put him in it and just push him around.
Mhm.
All right, so when you start messing around with the console a bit, Morthos, you're blind, right? Yeah, so never mind. No, I mean, if Kethras describes or anybody else describes what's seen on the monitors and stuff like that, they
Since I assume I'm there, I can give us some
Sure.
dictation.
They're
I
like-
assume I've got a fair chance.
yeah, they're like astral charts. They seem to depict some kind of constellations, stars.
Let me draw them on your back.
Yeah. So it has.
I would immediately, when they start explaining constellation charts, I'd be like, is there the big orange one?
And so yeah, like as you start moving it around, it's got like an interface. You can just start sliding things back and forth. Very, very advanced. Probably beyond the UI sensibilities of Heart, but like you could definitely tell this is somewhat of an advanced species. But you do notice it, yeah. It also seems to describe locations that you all are familiar with on the surface. Like the Spire and various other locations. And it seems
Am I still familiar with those being a Gnoll?
some of them, sure. Like I think you would know some of them because Gnolls also are from the surface. So all of
Okay.
you eventually, at some point, were on the surface probably and made your way down.
Okay.
But it does seem that it corresponds to the planet.
Okay.
So the
So
big
some
giant planet is what ate me.
Possible.
Oh no. Orthos is the heart.
do you insert the flash drive, so to speak?
Yeah. I want to try
Don't
and
forget, you got to turn it upside down
right.
since you have it wrong the way the first time.
First
you
time
put
you
Oh,
put
I
it
see.
in, it's totally wrong. You take it out, turn it around, put it in, it's still wrong.
Yep.
Take it out, turn it around,
Yeah,
and
got-
then
got-
it's right the third
But
time.
you gotta look
man.
at it, or else it's always
That's
wrong.
how it works.
Yep.
You plug it in,
Quantum USB port. It's
And-
always blocked.
you can see that immediately the display on the console begins to flicker out and starts demonstrating a whole series of errors. When you look around at other parts of the library, the mage lights in this that are floating around begin to flicker out and seem to be having some sort of trouble. You can hear people from somewhere else on the floor, or maybe even if somebody's watching the staircase from below, beginning to shout out an alarm over what the hell's going on, basically, is the equivalent. When you look into some of the other offices that are nearby, you can see the same things kind of happening. And it's as if something has gotten into the system and is starting to kind of mess around with it a bit.
Well, that's either
That's why you
good or
don't plug
awful for
random
us.
flash drives into
It's true.
computers.
It's true. It's the Ice 9 virus.
Yep.
Does it seem like there's any merit in us hanging around at this terminal if it will
Is it asking for a ransom?
interact with us?
No, but you do eventually see Zerk would notice this because I think he was the one who interacted the most with the administrator's visage. You see that same visage show up momentarily and kind of fade away into the ether, so to speak. And yeah, he's in the system now. Everything begins shutting down, flickering all sorts of different directions. Lights seem to be going on and off in times which you did not expect. You can see that the front door, the thing that had the blue shield, begins to flicker on, flicker back off at random intervals. And you also start to notice that there's people that are beginning to move around on the first floor as if they're trying to figure out what's going on.
All right, everybody, let's run.
If I remove the flash
Yep.
drive, does this continue?
Yeah.
Sweet.
All
I
right.
want to hold on to it.
Okay.
What
Plug it
did you
into
do?
more computers.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hold on to it in case I find a computer that's somehow not affected.
Okay. All right, so what's next?
Gotta get to that air gapped, systems that they have.
Right. Got to hit their DR site.
You nerds in your fucking computer.
Upload
doc.
it to their cloud. I guess our next path is reasonably the stairwell. Does that sound good?
Yep. Hopefully there wasn't anything.
I can just hold my sword out in front of me and run down the stairs.
There's some
Sounds
light,
like
but
a
it's
great idea.
very flickering. But as you hold your sword and run down, you do get down, and you can see that this second floor is, from a distance, is a little bit different. It doesn't have the rows and rows and rows of whatever collection this might be. Instead, it kind of seems to be a series of laboratories, and it seems like whatever you all did upstairs is having even greater effect down there, because it's not just lights and stuff, but you can hear the sounds of machinery that's being used in bizarre ways, things that are grinding. You can hear sounds of like suction that seems to be stuck on something. You can things that are shaking. You can feel vibrations on the walls and on the floors. You can see partitions and curtains that are being thrown about. It definitely seems to be somewhat chaotic over here. What would you like to do?
Kind of
Does
peer
this
into
keep
maybe
going
some of the-
down like past this floor?
There does not appear to be another way down in this staircase now.
Okay.
move
Do we
to the
see?
room and maybe peer
like,
in some of these?
So we're coming down. Is this staircase like open? Are we able to kind of see over this floor?
No, it's not like it's not like a balcony. No, it's like right when you get down, you have a
It's an
decent
enclosed
view.
staircase.
Yeah, and it's a
Okay.
fairly large floor, and there's hallways and things like that. So you can only see so much when you first get down to the end of the staircase. So,
Okay.
but you hear all sorts of sounds of people screaming as well, like these like sort of in pain, surprise, confusion.
Let's avoid the people in pain and try and find and see if there's something else to go down, like another.
Okay. How about we
Go
do an
deeper.
evade test here, as this is a much more populated floor. So go ahead and someone can take the lead on this, and I'll say can take like 2 assist dies to try to lead the group through the floor. We'll go evade. Tech would probably make the most sense.
I can help with tech, but I do not have evade.
I have neither.
I'm blind.
I have tech.
I have evade.
Looks like no one's
it's
got
basically
both, yeah.
same difference. I can roll if we want then, because I'm still carrying
Okay.
Kethras.
I like it when Dan rolls.
It's nobody should let me roll. If it's alright, I'll take the help from Zerk though.
I'll help.
You
as
can take
well.
you can take them. Yeah, you can take
Yep.
them all. That's fine. I don't mind because you're doing it as a group. You're like rolling it as a group here.
There we
Hey.
go.
Nice.
As you're stepping forward, you kind of hang a left a bit, and you proceed down a hallway in which the lights kind of are flickering above you, and you get up really close to some kind of some sort of lab. There's all sorts of liquid that has started to pour out from under these doors. When you look inside this this viewing window, you can see one of those similar lizard-like figures, the humanoid versions, not dressed in the same sort of robes, but laying on the ground. It seems to be like dissolving into this liquid that's been poured on the floor. You can also see that there is a desk and then like some sort of platform on top of which you can see the partial remains of one of the red giant-like creatures you all saw in your visions. And
Okay.
you can see that there are all sorts of little plugs and wires that seem to be connecting these vats of this liquid to this creature that's sitting.
Maybe
When
we
you
can go and look at
Does it
them
look
first. but
similar
maybe
to
pull
the
some of those out.
look similar to the head that I saw
Yep.
when I was in the heart?
I would say it looks very, very similar to what you saw, Kethras.
Shall we go in and interact with it in some way? Pull one of them out and see if it's pulling or putting liquid in, perhaps.
If you open the door, you can see some more of that liquid kind of trickles out. If it hits any of your shoes or feet, you can see a little tss, as if it's whatever the floor is made out of doesn't seem to be getting affected too horribly by it, but other types of stuff is. The creature that is lying down on the ground is covered in it. You can see it's just sort of like the end of Roger Rabbit, just sort of like melting into the floor. The minute you step inside Kethras, all of you can, with the exception of Morthos, can see that the figure that has been shadowing him suddenly becomes less and less incorporeal. Kind of takes on a more of a physical form, as if it's less shadowy and just a little bit thicker, a little bit almost present. And when you start to run your hands through it, you can see that you can feel a physical presence to the head now, as if there's something you're supposed to do here. This is somehow, you're somehow kind of collecting the physical forms of whatever it is you're carrying. If that makes sense.
Okay. So we probably gotta do something with this guy on the table here. Could start maybe pulling the syringes or whatever they are out of
As
him,
you start just yanking out all these cords and cables, you can see on the actual platform, it's like a dissected version of one of these red giants, but they're not all there. You can see that there's pieces of the head, there's sort of different chunks of organs that are in various little pans. And as you start pulling these things out, you can see that orangey light coming out of their eyes begins to glow brighter and brighter. And after a moment, with all these things gone, it sort of seems to suddenly come into conscience. And it kind of looks out. So this little head is just sitting on top of this table, and its eyes are wide and bright, and it's kind of looking up at you all. It opens its mouth as if to speak, but it's just almost like a fax machine sound that comes out that just begins to beat away at your ears to the point where all of you kind of cover them up a little bit. But it seems to be looking and speaking directly at Kethras. It's kind of trying its best it can to crane and stare its eyes in the direction of
dial-up
Kethras.
sounds are streaming into your brain.
Duvesa wants to use her old blood to kind of get its surface level emotion.
I've got to hit the restroom real quick.
I would say there's a sense of relief. Yeah, it's a kind of the recently absent fear, and now there's like relief or hope or something like that.
Okay, so Duvesa will share that with the group.
I'll tap Dan and have him bring me closer.
Okay.
And
You're with him in the bathroom though, so I don't think,
Yeah.
I don't think that works.
Yeah.
Yeah, you step closer, and when you reach down, like to kind of look at it, do you touch it at all, or do you just stand close to it?
does it try to make contact? Is it moving?
It's just a
towards
head,
me?
so it really can't move, but it's just more like the eyes and is like looking in your direction, staring you down.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make contact with it after looking at it for a little bit.
So you all watch then as your hand reaches down, as your hand makes contact with this reddish giant bald head. And remember, these heads are bigger than ours. Like these are giants.
Mm-hmm.
So you reach out and you touch, and you can see that your skin and its just begin to meld together. And you can watch as like it just begins to travel. Its physical essence just begins to travel up your arm as the head just deflates down into some sort of amorphous matter. Comes up your arm, onto your shoulder, and just seems to emerge like a second head on your shoulder. There's this red bulbous head sitting on top of your shoulder, and when you touch it, it's physical. And when you rest of you are looking at it, you no longer see this shadowy kind of ethereal version. It's just that physical form that has grown onto your shoulder.
Oh no, it became one with him?
It did.
Oh.
It's called
That's
body
messed up.
horror.
Yeah.
So now you're carrying two people, Dan.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So you have a very
It's
large head on your shoulder, and then you have your
Does it-
head.
Does it have a name?
No.
Does it still make fax machine sounds?
It does not, but you do kind of start getting communication from it. You're feeling more like impulses as opposed to language, things to do. You get a sense of appreciation, but also an urging. as if there's more to be done. There's more. Something else.
Or there's at least 4 more weird growths that we can attach to ourselves.
Not in here. Here it was just like the one
Well,
head
I
and a
know,
couple organs now.
For the rest of us. Assuming we make it.
And I'll try and ask it like where.
It can't really be too discerning, but it does say near, close, very close.
Okay.
So have we
Well,
scoped out this room to the extent that we can?
Yeah, it's you looked around. It's just a bunch of stuff, a bunch of like stuff for alchemy and like chemicals and things like that. If you like, you can grab a D6 tech resource if you want to grab some of that,
Yes.
some of the juice.
Sure.
Arby's sauce.
I'll try and play like hot and cold with it.
Okay.
And just like start pointing, like I'll point back towards the door that we came through, like this way. And
Yeah, and that there after a moment or so, it like takes a minute to kind of get your connections together, but eventually you do kind of get a hot cold thing, and it leads you further inward to the floor, and to this rounded wall, and another one of those blue flickering doors. You can see through a very small viewing window that there is a figure inside that seems to be carving away at a large red carcass. This one looks a little different than what you've seen before. It's very similar to the creature that was laying on the ground being disintegrated, melted. You can see there's this huge apparatus on the back of their body.
It's a Doc Ock version of it.
All sorts of tubing kind of coming up and kind of connecting to various locations. These little blue crystals that are being connected to by this tubing. They seem to definitely be focusing on almost like they're cutting into something. You can see legs to the one side because you're looking at this person's back, and you can see legs like laying on a platform, and then you can't really see anything else. They're these long red legs that are probably as tall as like Duvesa.
Can I
and
attempt to like?
does the red look like a similar shade to?
Yeah, and you're getting like your new friend is
The
certainly
encouragement.
giving you the hot symbol.
Can I attempt
Duvesa
to-
can also. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was just gonna see if I could beat boop this door like I did the other one.
Sure, I'll roll it over.
Before we go in, I want to sense the emotion of that figure.
Which one? The
Either one, whichever one's
you-
alive.
you
To
tell
sense
me.
an emotion from.
You can get one from either, so you just tell me which one you want.
I'll do the carver first.
Carver feels anxious, impatient.
Carvey.
Feels horrified, scared, and it's
Harvey Dent.
confused.
That'll be his name.
Okay. So I'll let everybody know that they are both alive.
Okay.
Hmm.
I will attempt to
Okay.
do
So-
that thing.
So as
So you said this, the guy that's carving looks like one of the reptile librarian people.
Yeah, it doesn't have the same getup, but it definitely looks like the same kind of humanoid lizard folk, but has some kind of Ghostbusters-like thing on the back.
We want to try and sneak up, take him out.
So why don't
We gotta open the door
yeah,
first, though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
first
roll.
things first.
I'm gonna roll over. I'll roll over since you successfully did it somewhere else. You can do it again.
Okay.
But I want someone to roll an evade if they're going up to try to sneak up on him. That's fine.
Well, can you, Kethras, sneak up on him?
I don't think so. No. Oh, I am. I can do my long range attack though. I have Grim Reaper, which will let me once per fight do a ranged attack with my Spectre. So I can attempt that.
Okay. All right. So if we want to do that, that's fine. Instead of doing an evade, you can just roll kill. Then if the door opens, you're timing it right, so you pop open the door, shoot your Spectre in. So,
Okay.
So it'll be kill, obviously, and then you could do occult or tech.
I have both of those.
Go for it. And these are risky.
Risky. Okay.
Success.
There we go.
You manage to send the spectral form pops up maybe on the other side of like the platform on which the body is, and does its normal attack. It does immediately. The specter does immediately disappear, catches the guy off guard, and turns around, kind of looking, and sees the open doorway with tarnished steel and you kind of inside. Go ahead and roll your damage dice.
5.
Not bad. That's
It's
not
pretty
bad.
good. It's solid damage. It definitely seems to have taken it off guard. Is anybody else doing something?
I might put Kethras down on the ground first.
Do basic can do an exsanguinate.
Okay, go ahead and roll your exsanguinate. Same thing. Kill, or whatever you roll for exsanguinate, but it's tech or occult.
Oh yeah, I can do a cold.
God, we
Then
just
I don't.
run in and club him
have
with
kills.
Kethras now.
I tell you what, Kethras could be a D12 item,
Ooh,
but he takes it
there
too.
it is. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm all right with that.
Sorry. So it's 2.
Okay.
Success with stress.
All right. So we'll say that as the two of you do your kind of quick shots, you can see that from its hands, which are entirely metal, it kind of turns back, and you can see like a force lightning come out at you. This blue electricity, and it hits the two of you, both of you, and this will be piercing, and this will also hit tarnished because it's spread. So all three of you can take 6 points.
And that thing can take 6 points piercing from me.
Okay, 6 points piercing is enough to kill it if it's piercing. That'll be enough to kill it, but it does manage to get that last shock off, and as it does, it falls, slouches against the kind of experimentation bed, and then flops to the ground.
Why do they all have to have piercing?
Because it's the final level, Dan.
It makes having protection just totally meaningless.
It's true. It's true.
I'm gonna do my fancy stuff where I take that to echo instead.
Okay.
So it's gonna put me up to 10, and then I roll my. What do I roll?
Kethras first. I'll roll Fallout. 5 for Kethras, 6 for Dan for Tarnished, and then 7.
What type is this? Blood?
This is Echo.
Echo. If I'm taking
Echo.
minor echo.
Echo.
Oh, the lightning was echo damage?
Yeah. Most of
okay.
the damage you're going to basically be taking is either Echo or Blood.
Is this 7 for me?
7's for you. Yeah, it just slowly increased for
I'm
everybody.
going to go ahead
Damn.
and use my plate here
I
to
have
see
8.
if I can eat this or not.
Okay. Go for it. Use your plate.
Let's see.
Joe, did you say you took a minor?
Yep.
Do you have any other minors going on right now?
I have a minor mind.
All right, go ahead and scrap that, and we'll say major, and we'll say what's the mind that you currently have?
Vulnerable. I have no mind protection, but I didn't have any mind protection anyways.
Okay.
so.
Okay. We'll say you take the major, so you can clear that minor, and you can take a major echo eyes. Your eyes become wide black orbs. You can see perfectly well in the dark, but the lights dazzle and hurt you. So I can call for an endure check whenever you enter a well-lit area. So right now it's not well-lit, but every time one of those mage lights flicker on nearby you, you feel like a pain.
Is this purely detrimental? So like it doesn't affect my night vision. It just makes bright hurt.
It just makes
makes
brighter.
you
yeah.
super night vision.
You can see in the dark just fine. You see perfectly well in the dark. It's just if there's ever a bright moment, I might require an endure test.
Okay.
And then Dan, did you take something?
I knocked it down just enough to put me under.
Okay.
By one.
I did. I took major.
All right. Major. Do you have any other majors going on?
Nope.
Okay, so you can take. You'll take reconfigured physiology, as your
That
organs
sounds
and bones
awful.
don't make sense anymore. You can no longer remove stress from blood, or remove blood fallout at haunts, or through the use of medical kits if you have a medical kit. This shows itself in some outward fashion, usually gross bulging under your skin, words appearing as bruises, black blood, and so on. So whatever this thing that shot out at you on it somehow managed to rearrange part of your physiology.
All right.
Okay.
How
That
rude.
sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
When you,
Just made my eyes weird.
when you look inside Tarnished, you can see that you're having some deja vu, as there is a figure laying on the ground, laying on this platform that has all sorts of slices and cuts in it. When you get close, you see like most of its organs have seemed to have been removed. When you get even closer, you can see an arm suddenly reaches up as if it's trying to grab you.
I'll get him with my strong arm.
Okay. So you grab him, it grabs you, and much like with Kethras, you can see as this good 30 seconds to a minute long melding of like weird flesh as this creature that was laying down begins to suddenly sneak up the side of Tarnished-Steel-Endures, and then it grows into a separate body behind him, standing up. You are tethered, but otherwise you are able to walk on your own. But there is like this red, gross tether between the two of you. It is a good 4 feet taller than you.
All right. Hello. You.
You don't get any voices from it. It does
nice
the same
to
thing.
be stuck to you.
It does do the same sort of thing. You do get a sense. You get like these baseline emotions coming from it. Oh, did Chuck freeze out?
Yeah.
All right. I was wondering. I'm like, Chuck hasn't
Yep.
said anything.
Yeah. He's frozen.
He's awfully steady there.
Let's see what happens.
He's in the waiting room. We're gonna have 2 Chucks.
Uh-oh.
That could be problematic.
I'm going
It
to-
is problematic. Oh no.
It is.
What? Okay.
Oh.
Problematic.
There we are. Yeah. Sorry.
Overlay.
Oh, no.
Myself. I'm
Now
sorry.
I am Chuck. Ha
All
And
the
I am
fixes.
Joe.
Man, I'm still Jeff. That sucks.
I want to be somebody else.
I do, just for a little while. Let's see, who's who? Matt, you go there. Chuck, you're up here. Man, everyone's like somewhere else. It couldn't just be like 1 or 2 people. It had to be everyone.
No,
be.
it had to
It
be
is
everybody.
Had to
Now,
be-
there's your chance to be me, Melissa. I wouldn't want to be me either, though.
All of a sudden, he just rolls ones left and right. Or she just rolls ones left and right.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
Comes with the
Joe's
name.
All set.
Yeah, I was doing my thing, and all of a sudden, Zoom kind of blinked real weird, and like my camera disappeared. It was bananas.
Now we see you from a different angle.
Okay, I think we're all good.
It's- Yeah, just a little different.
So basically, Duvace's got rearranged organs. Kethras has black eyes and can see in the dark. Tarnished now has
I got a
a
double.
giant red creature walking behind him that's connected via an umbilical cord.
Okay,
And
that's
hasn't
exciting.
hasn't done much to help me out yet.
Another day in the life of the heart.
And we're okay.
Yeah,
We didn't get
that's-
zapped.
When you look
This is
inside,
normal.
there's all sorts of medical equipment in here. There's all sorts of things like you can see there's packs of things. You can see there's bandages. You can see there's suturing kits.
Can we attempt to
scalpels.
fix ourselves up a bit?
This is in fact a haunt. This is a
Oh,
blood
yay.
haunt. Unfortunately,
Oh.
See, I had not just grabbed that.
unfortunately,
that thing.
I was a total dick and gave Duvesa reconfigured physiology, so she can't use it. But this
Yeah.
is.
But I
in
can help
fact-
other people though, right?
You can
Like,
help
I
other
just can't
people.
help.
I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine. But there's plenty of stuff in here that if you all wanted to do some blood healing, you could.
Yep.
I do something to heal my eyeballs.
Your eyeballs are. Is that blood?
I
do you-
think so.
Your
Yeah, my blood's reset, so it's got to be that.
Okay, so we'll say blinded. Yeah, you're blinded.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a major. So if you're looking to remove, you need to D8 to remove major fallout, or
Sure, I'll
D6 to remove
D6.
minor.
I'm just gonna give up my glittering feathers, which are a D8.
Yeah, I
Oh,
gave up my
not the
glittering
other-
feathers just earlier.
Can I give up a combination of the goop stuff and liquor?
Sure. Okay.
I'm gonna give up my goop to fix my broken arm because that somehow seems correct.
It'll say you're rubbing the goop over your arm and you're using it in some way as like an adhesive for a bandage or some shit. Such. It's all kind of mysterious.
I'm doing that to remove my major.
Science. I'll
Fix
just say
my
that
spine
as I
up.
put it on.
And when I had the major, I get rid of all stress, right?
Yeah.
Major's all stress.
Good news, I have no stress. Bad news,
job.
my organs are in the wrong place.
So while you guys are doing this, you start hearing some strange animal sounds from down the hall.
Oh, I don't like strange animal sounds.
You can see now I've got a gun. Let's go investigate.
Those are the only two things you need. Yeah, sight and a gun. All right.
Go kill it.
I don't need legs. Dan could just carry me around.
Yeah.
Now I've got 2 working arms. I'll just carry both of you.
So as you begin exploring further, you start to notice that there are more of these types of creatures with these packs on their backs, moving back, through some of the hallways. They seem to be looking for something, possibly you. But I'm rolling over your evade before, and you're able to carefully move. You're also periodically getting these pulses of warnings coming from these red creatures that are attached either to your shoulder or via an umbilical cord. So Tarnished and Kethras can often shout out like danger, something like that. But eventually you come into another one of these laboratory buildings, or laboratory rooms, fairly large actually, the largest one you've seen so far. It almost looks like a kennel with all of these peculiar animals that have been collected in this large cubbyhole. No one is apparently in here currently, but you do see that the door itself is another one of those kind of blue energy sealed doors. But Tarnished is able to once again just boop, 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 kind of punch in, and when you start looking around, Zerk, you start to get a strange sense of deja vu as
You've been in this place before.
You see these animals here, and while they're very small, they're almost like cubs, small little creatures of things you saw kind of frolicking about in your little journey through this jungle, in your vision in the heart. You can see them all, and they begin to make all sorts of noise when you come in, annoyingly so, really, really loud noise. And they don't listen at all. But you don't see any signs of like some kind of red giant or anything like that, though.
They ate him.
And I'm gonna eat one of them.
Listen, these poor innocent little creatures, I just ask that you give me like a little nibble too.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I want to eat one.
Okay.
Are they poor innocent creatures that we should be eating? Or should we maybe just be letting them go?
You can choose
There's
between...
only one way to find out, and that's to eat one.
There's feathery, there's furry, and there's scaly. What do you prefer?
Oh,
Roll a d6.
roll the dice. Roll the dice. Was it feathery, furry, or
Feathery, furry,
leathery?
Scaly.
Scaly.
FFS.
We're going
Feathery.
furry?
Furry. Okay.
Oh, furry,
so
yeah.
You
okay.
reach into one of these
it's a D3.
kennels, and you pull out some sort of bizarre chicken-like creature with like 4 wings, these big ugly feet, this hooked beak, but these adorable giant eyes, and this ugly but in a kind of cute kind of way thing hanging down beneath it. And when you pull it out, it seems so excited to be free. It's like stretching its arms and such, and then you just start eating it. Do you eat the whole thing, or do you just take a bite out of it?
Do you want to split it?
Yeah.
Chuck, more of those? You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, half
I at
each.
least want to bite, yeah. Let's just, you grab a wing and a couple legs.
We'll just pull.
And we'll just,
Oh, these people.
So the two of you begin to start gnawing on this thing, and this poor creature just begins to howl in pain. All the other creatures suddenly have this moment of, I thought we were being rescued, but we're not, apparently. But the rest of you notice how
I'll start rescuing the rest of them.
the red, kind of shadowy giant creature that's behind Zerk actually begins with the gnawing of this creature to start getting more and more red and more physical, as if this actually seems to have helped it somehow.
Oh no.
Oh
we just gotta
no!
eat more.
Oh no. My original suggestion was
Raw
a joke.
chicken is
It's
apparently
true.
the answer here.
I mean, he's been
Hey,
eating stuff
I-
all game, so I'm like, why
What
not?
do I
I-
gain from eating this
I
chicken?
I want to start like killing them to make it a little bit more humane.
You could take a wild. We'll say wild and evade. Makes sense.
Okay.
Okay. So as you start slaughtering these animals and sitting here and eating these animals one by with each additional bite, your stomach gets full, for sure, and maybe you feel a little bloated. Some indigestion starts going on, but eventually the figure behind you, this is in this kind of scrawny almost red giant with these kind of a strange set of clothing, this almost fur-like clothing begins to form. And you can see, just like Tarnished, it is attached to Zerk somehow through this tether. And you start to get these
umbilical buddies.
You start to get these weird senses from it, like this kind of primal urges. It's kind of hard to distinguish. He seems very angry, whoever this is.
Let's try to make sure we don't cross our ropes.
All right.
I want to pick
Crest.
up one of the dead chickens and like hold it up to next to the hat on my shoulder and be like, "You don't want one of these, do you?"
You get disinterest. Like, you get the sense of disinterest because, like, vegetarian.
Okay, good. No. Toss it in the pile.
So, as you all step out, look around some more, you hear more sounds of footsteps, but you're able to evade them. And eventually, even though you haven't explored the entirety of this floor, you do find a staircase going down. This very wide staircase with lighted hand railings that are flickering, and every time they flicker, Kethras, you kind of have to look off to the side. It's not too bad, but it does seem to be going down.
Do we get
Down
a
we go.
feeling that this is the way that we should go?
Most certainly so. There's
Okay.
also a great sense of trepidation and fear that's getting pulsed into the three of you from your various buddies.
Oh no. Well, I hope he knows that if I die, he dies too. So
I'm
think.
glad
yeah.
I'm immune to that.
Down we go.
Okay.
Yep.
mm-hmm.
All right. So as you kind of work your way down one heavy flight, and then you kind of turn around and start moving down the next, you can see that there is a large, completely blue, it's that same sort of illuminated blue energy beams that it seems to be covering a wall. You can't see through it, but when you get to the bottom of the staircase and you step a few feet forward, all there is in front of you is just about a 20-foot wide wall of blue energy standing in your way.
I think this is gonna be harder to be booped down.
Yeah,
You got it.
I am going to have you actually reroll this one. Yeah. So this is, again, it's tech discern, or
Is
discern
there
tech, I should say.
a terminal or anything nearby it?
Does not appear to be so. You don't see any like consoles or anything you've seen before.
All right. Well, let's see what I can do here.
Okay.
Yay.
Once again, you managed to go through it just fine. You do feel that same sort of shock hit you again. I'm a machine. I am a machine with this. 6 points, Echo again.
Ouch.
And 4.
Oh.
I'll go ahead and take the minor because I'm at 11 stress right now.
Okay.
All in echo.
Do you
Now you get
have
to clear it.
Do you have any other minors?
I do not now.
Okay. All right.
So hopefully this one doesn't screw me up in the way that I think it's going to.
Okay. So as the door opens, Tarnished disappears.
Oh.
Oh.
What?
And when you look forward, you see yet another wall of blue a couple feet forward, as this seems to be some kind of central chamber here. And to the right and to the left, you see consoles, and both of them appear to be occupied by those Ghostbuster folks with the packs on their back, who, with the door opening up, turn around and see all of you there.
Except for me, apparently.
Except for Tarnished, who is currently glitching and can only appear after every other player has acted at least once.
Oh.
It's a
Oh,
glitch in the
no.
Matrix.
Yep.
I have a very easy solution to this,
Okay.
and I pull out my gun.
Okay.
So, anyways, I started blasting.
I shoot one of the two backpack dudes.
Okay.
Can I assist with that?
Okay. Do you want to do another spectral distraction?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is going to be kill tech or kill a cult, and it's going to be risky.
Kill a cult.
And you'll get
Risky.
an assist
I'd like to-
from Kethras.
I would like to fight at the same time once he's done. The other one. We'll
Okay.
each take a target.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna sanguinate the other one.
Pow, pow.
How many times am I allowed to assist? Can I assist like per action with them?
There's no rounds technically, so I don't see why you couldn't continue to do it because
Yeah,
you're
I'll
risking the
assist with
stress.
both of them.
Pew pew.
Okay, so the first two shots are successful. As the door opens up, you immediately start blasting. So we'll say, so for the first one, Kethras and Morthos, you all will take some stress back from this creature. As you fire, it will immediately kind of flick its hands up with relatively quick reaction time, and you will take. I'm gonna take a look. What was I doing?
Oh, we should target the backpacks.
Yeah.
Both of you take 6 points of echo as you again feel your bodies just begin to shift and change and morph in some fashion. And so for you all, 1 for Chuck, 8 for Kethras.
I'm good.
And so Chuck or Morthos glitches out as well. You see him, he fires, gets shot, and then disappears.
Shit.
Then the other one, same thing happens. Whereas you manage to shoot the one on the right, let's say Zerk, with your bow. Is it a bow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it will fire back at you. Losing track of what I'm supposed to be rolling here. This will also. It's only one. So there's 1 point of echo to both Zerk and Kethras because Kethras said he was assisting. And then Morthos and Zerk, why don't you guys roll your damage?
Mine is brutal, so that's I roll 2 and take the higher.
Correct.
9 damage.
Damn.
Shoot.
Anything pierce? Anyone's got piercing?
No.
Okay.
So mine is 6 damage.
Okay.
Mine's pretty good though. It's much better
Yeah, it
than,
is.
than my one
Okay.
I tried to do the first time.
They do seem to have some sort of protection, but yeah. And Duvesa, you said you wanted to exsanguinate.
Yep.
Okay. And so same one that same one that Zerk was on. You cast your spell. We'll say that the sort of lightning, the bluish lightning energy, kind of cascades over towards you as well, and so you will take 6 points of echo.
Yeah.
It's out of a
Roll 20.
D10, just so you know.
Really likes you still.
Was that piercing?
My one, yes, was piercing.
Okay. Cool. Does still seem to be up. Kethras, I'll say you were assisting, so that'll satisfy. And suddenly Tarnished, you glitch back in, and you can see that Morthos is missing, but the rest of them are there, and a fight has
4
begun.
is equal, by the way.
What's that?
4 is equal for me.
Okay, and then Duvesa disappears. I like this. This is fun.
Okay.
Why? When I disappear, do I see anybody while I'm disappeared?
No. I don't know what you see. You're just not there. You're there. You're like out of time for a moment. And that's
Thought maybe Tarnished-Steel and I would be like hanging out. And
At this point, it would be you and Morthos. You look over, the two of you are there, and there's no one else. Okay, so they're still alive, and they seem to be gearing up again to fire at you as well. One of them looks to be reaching for some sort of button or lever on their console, as if they might be calling reinforcements or something like that. What do you guys do?
Can I try to murder him swiftly?
Okay. Yeah.
Killing him softly.
So we'll say you're close. I would say that they're right inside the door, so that you don't have to move too far. So we'll say no movement roll necessary here, and just do your kill whatever.
Okay.
Kill
Risky, right?
It is risky against these, yeah.
Okay. Until I hit one of them. All right.
Okay. And these guys, as you hit one, as you charge in, you swing at this one. Go ahead and roll your damage. The pack that they're wearing shoots out this like explosion as you make contact, and it does 8 points of echo damage right back to you. You can see
And
each time
Do I
this
get to ignore any
electricity
of that, or?
if you have protection, sure.
Okay.
It's not piercing.
Okay. Well, let me go ahead and
I don't think. Let me double check.
do my other thing here.
No, not piercing.
Take some stress from that also. And roll my damage here, which I think is a D8. Let me double check. Sorry, I should know this more quickly.
It's all good. All you need to do is 1 point of damage.
Oh,
At 1 health. And that'll be
Okay.
enough. Okay, so
it's piercing as well. So
the
I'm
one that
guaranteed to do
Zerk
it,
and
so.
Tarnished and Duvesa all attacked falls, collapses onto its console, and falls down. As it does so, though, it does exert all that damage back at you. I rolled a 5 on your Fallout check.
Yep.
So,
I'm
Morthos
over
hasn't
that.
returned. I think I need. We'll say. I'm trying to think. Morthos actually went first, and then Kethras, and then Morthos disappeared. I think actually Morthos would come back once Dan goes. Yeah, once Dan goes, you should be okay. And all of a sudden, Morthos pops back into existence, but Duvesa is still not here.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I took stress 2 times, and I'm already over that 5. So.
All right. So there's still one more. What do you guys want to do for the other one while I figure out?
So did I
I'll
pop
Grim
back?
Reaper
Yeah,
it.
you're popped back, Morthos, if you want to go.
I was popped back. I was gonna start some fires.
Okay. Tarnished, as Tarnished comes back, pops back into existence, charges, hacks at this creature. This energy explodes from it. You just start retching as all sorts of fat moths and grubs and spiders just begin to start erupting, not just from your mouth, but these boils and sores in your body.
Yeah.
Okay, was it Morthos or Kethras that was doing something?
Both.
Yes.
Does Morthos have to do his first because he just popped in?
You guys can go whatever order you want. Mechanically, for Duvesa to come back, Morthos would have to go again, Zerk would have to go again, and Kethras would have to go again.
Okay.
All right, I'll start a fire.
Perfect.
So I'm just gonna do my regular old fire attack. So that's gonna be, what is that? Kill a cult still?
Kill Colt's fine.
Fingers crossed you haven't had good luck with this.
Had great luck with this.
You will have good luck with this.
You will have good luck.
Yes,
there.
you will.
You will.
Damn. Roll the damage.
And it's usually a D6 with piercing, but since it's upgraded, it is a D8 with piercing. And 4 points of fire
And
damage.
you see him burst into flames and begin spinning around and
Mhm.
fall down to the ground and burn away as the fire just seems to ignite off of whatever pack it was wearing and continues until
Yeah.
no more. And this room is now empty. There's 2 consoles. Duvesa hasn't returned. I technically do need Zerk and Kethras to do an action. Just any
I
kind of
will
action.
take a bite out of one of these 2 dead guys.
Okay.
And I'll assist.
With a bite.
With biting him?
Oh wait, no, you're okay.
You're gonna feed him.
He's
Like,
dead.
here
never
comes
mind.
the airplane.
He'll cut. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Open wide.
They were on consoles, right?
There are consoles nearby. Yeah.
Did
Please
these
plug
seem
in
to be
USB
affected
port
by
in.
that virus thing, or can I plug in my?
They seem to be functioning just fine.
Change that.
Okay. So you go over, you plug it in, and you can see the same thing kind of happen. It just seems to just sort of shuts down a bit. Not only that, but the blue door that is
Nice.
still up begins to flicker as if it's about to power down. You see that same shadowy image, the pixelated image of the administrator's face show up once more, and then dissipate into the system.
And nod at it as it does such.
Yep.
Can I take one of those proton packs and throw it on my back?
Absolutely. This actually can be used as a, if you want, it is a D10. It can be used as a kill item with spread. So it's AoE basically. Also can be used as a mend D10 item.
Ooh.
Nice.
And so as you do that, we'll say, Duvesa, you flicker back into existence just as the door goes down. And you all see this sort of dark, kind of musty room in front of you. occasional light flickering, and all of you can hear as this giant sound of like this rustling sound comes from inside the shadows somewhere.
Quick question. What do I do for that stress I took for the fallout?
That was it. It was like the flickering in and out thing. Didn't I do that too? Or did you get something else?
When I
another one?
attacked,
Oh,
you said it was moths and other fun things like that.
Actually, what happens is everybody else takes D4 stress to mine. So it would have been everyone but Duvesa who wouldn't have seen it. So Morthos, Kethras, and Zerk
Sweet.
all take D4. So I'll roll that. All
Okay.
of you take 3. 3
and
mine
then,
stress.
sadly, I still need you to roll
You should be
another
okay.
fallout check for me also, because I took fortune stress when I used my attack.
5.
I'm good.
All right. I think we're okay on. All right, we're good. All right, so very dark room in front of you, very musty, smells peculiar.
Kethras, what do you see?
Tarnished, Zerk, and Kethras, you all get a immense sense of fear and loathing coming through you.
Oh no. I think it's about to be train time, but we'll see.
Kethras, actually, you do see in the dark. That's right.
Yeah, that's why I asked. What does Kethras
Good
see?
call. Kethras, you see a massive head. This big, almost alligator-like head. This huge, wide, flat on the ground, and it's just there. An eyeball that's closed. There's an eyelid covering it, the size of one of the small creatures outside that you fought, like one of those hippopotamus-sized ones, is almost the size of this eye.
Oh, no.
And you can see that there is some sort of enormous creature in here. This is a level of the library you've never been to before.
Is there a door on the other side of this room?
No, you can't see it on. You can't see to the other side of the room. The head of this creature is so enormous that there's no vision beyond it.
Oh, I was like, maybe we can just sneak in front of it and leave, but it sounds like it's in front of
It seems
probably where we need to go.
It seems to be slumbering, and if you step in and you look off to the right and to the left, you can see that there's all sorts of machinery, consoles. There's tubes, there's tanks, and there's dozens and dozens and dozens of cables that seem to be hooked up into the head of this creature.
Oh,
Are any of them flickering
yeah.
or unhappy?
No, they're all these don't have. When I say, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said consoles, but you can see that there's all sorts of just machinery and tanks and stuff, as if it's like
Okay.
sedating it.
Oh.
Do we have any like poison or
get-
something we can
Put
inject
into it.
No.
If the adolescents you fought at the beginning were hippopotamus sized, the adult was whale size. This thing is like the size of a skyscraper turned over on its side.
Oh, I don't think we've got enough poison.
And you can only see
The world.
you can only see the head, and you can see that as you kind of peek up, if you get on the shoulders of your red friends and you look, you can see that kind of extending off as far as your dark sight can see. This creature just coils off in the distance. Like, you can't even see it. It's enormous. And Zerk, you would probably put two and two together that this is the thing you were sensing before.
Okay.
All
right.
To fight this?
Can
can
we
we
fight it?
Can anyone other than Kethras see it? Because I have to see it to sense emotion.
Yeah, well, I definitely would be.
It's dark in
Letting
there, but
everyone
you can
know
always light up a torch or something. From what you can tell, it's asleep. It's sedated.
Yeah.
But our
Well-
understanding is that we need to take this thing out.
It definitely seems that the things that are echoing you guys are most certainly hateful towards it.
And I'll pose that question to my other head. Like, are you wanting us to kill this? Is this something you need?
You
Okay.
get an assent. Yes, that does seem to be their hope.
Are you ready to die with me trying to get this done?
This might be Duvace's time.
Okay.
I want to use
Unless somebody else has something.
Well, first I want to do my Greed of the Red King spell. I just roll Discern an Occult, and I can determine what's a target that I can see once most of all.
Okay. So go ahead. Roll it.
Most of all right now. So let's see. I do have those two. Sure.
Nice.
You got it.
I want to do it on the big thing.
Sure. It wants to populate. Wants to have more little giant basilisk baby thingies.
Okay.
That's fair.
It's I don't want to say it's having a wet dream, but that's sort of what I just implied. But no,
Yep.
no, you definitely get no. It's not like gross like that. It's more just there's this natural drive to reproduce.
Yeah.
Is this where you use your zeniths? Is this it?
I don't know. They're weird.
I have an idea.
I could
Your
use
idea.
mine, but then I'm dead.
Same
Wow.
thing here.
Do
I
they
can
also-
use mine. I'm good through the rest of the situation. So depending on how long the situation is defined, I'm still around.
Okay.
I think it's once we're done dealing with it.
Okay. It's up to you guys.
Well,
Or
or we could try
dealing
to
with
be
this
creative
place
first and see if there's some way to deal with it creatively, and then if creative problem solving fails,
This
then
thing
we could
is
do a zenith.
Are-
freaking
Wait.
enormous. I think
I
it's
have an idea too.
Do there seem to be any other mechanical things like fail safes in this room if it were
Yeah.
to wake up?
What do you mean by failsafes? Like something to protect you
So-
all if it woke up?
Well, like they're clearly keeping it sedated because they
But
don't
they've-
want it to wake
They've
up.
got to be keeping it alive also at the same point.
Because they're making
Right.
little tiny versions of this that we fought already.
Yeah.
So perhaps there's some other device or mechanism we can muck with.
There's plenty of machinery. There's plenty. You can start messing with it. I'm not sure what's gonna happen.
Maybe we can, take the sedation and turn it up to 11.
Maybe.
Just putting it out there, just kill it with science.
I want to cast that same spell again,
Okay.
but I want to cast it at Joe's head shoulder friend.
Vengeance. Yeah. Vengeance is sort of what's coming from it.
Okay.
That's my idea, at least. I want to go mess with one of the, look at the
Yeah,
terminals
we can
see
try
if
and
we
see.
can muck with the electronics.
Okay. Roll discern tech.
Let's do some malpractice.
Okay. Critical success.
There
You
we
would
go.
you would piece together that most of this seems to be more like monitoring equipment. Like everything seems to be going into its brain, like into its head, as if it's monitoring some kind of output. And when you look at some of the displays, it's got incredibly complex, like sort of like treat it like a very complex brain scan in a way, as if there's a lot going on. Remember that you are in a library. This is about accumulation of knowledge as well.
Mhm.
And so this likely is not just an enormous, powerful creature, but possibly an enormously intelligent one as well. And so tapping into
and
it, they're
there-
tapping into its
There's
brain.
nothing we like more than killing enormously intelligent beings.
It's true. It's true.
Well, we
Um,
could just wake it up and ask it what's going on.
the
I
Reason
so?
with it.
I don't
our
get the
little red
impression-
figures don't think
I
that's a
don't
good
get the
idea.
impression I can mess with it.
Does
any of
it
this, though,
have?
that right?
Is this room like big enough that it seems like it'd be able to move around?
I mean,
Really?
its head could.
We could just
Its head
be
could thrash
backwards from it.
back and forth. Again, the rest of the body you can't even really see it, so it might coil around the entire landmark.
Which it sounds
Well-
like it does. We could just not. Oh man, it could crush the entire landmark, I suppose.
It could.
Or maybe that's what we do. Maybe we just piss it off and leave.
Why don't we just ask it a question? I'll pull out my pistol and I'll blast it.
Okay.
In the eye.
Okay.
In the eye.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna be not in this room when he does that.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a dangerous. At dangerous, kill wild would be fine.
Got it.
Okay.
Look at that.
You very easily shoot it in the eye. You can see that the eye, like the bullet just sort of ricochets off of it.
Yeah.
Barely does any damage whatsoever. You can see it's nothing much at all. The eye opens up, and then you can see it sort of goes through the process of dilating the pupil a bit, and then it becomes this sort of vertical slit, and it just sort of moves its head and kind of rotates over towards you, Morthos. And then it continues to sort of try as best it can to examine the room. And you can see that its eyes begin to again refocus as it looks at the large red creatures that are standing behind Zerk and Tarnished Steel. And then you can see that just looking at them is getting it to move. It's like starting to slowly move as if it's moving its mouth in your directions. What would you like to do?
I want to yell out a question at it.
Sure.
Hey, what's going on there, buddy?
I'm moving to the stairs.
Nothing. How you doing?
And I'm assessing
What are
emotion.
you doing?
You're assessing emotion. I would say anger, likely at being woken up, and confusion.
Pretty par for the course, yeah.
Maybe it's being kept in its condition for reasons. But as it wakes up, it like kind of focuses in on these red creatures. It's looking down at Morthos, and it's seeing Morthos like with this gun, like, "Hey, what's going on?" It doesn't communicate. It actually doesn't speak.
Rude.
So I would say you could probably feel we'll say that you can probably feel a sense of definitely a sense of anger kind of overwhelm it, and it's pretty clear. You're not sure if it's focused at you though, as its head just begins to sort of continue to move around. It doesn't seem to want to react directly to you, as its head is slowly beginning, like the mouth is almost towards you all, is what I'm saying. If there's something else somebody wants to do.
If you guys want to do something, this is the time now.
This is the time.
Start raking machinery.
Is this Zenith time?
I think
Somebody
it's
wants
Zenith
to.
time.
I think so too.
Someone's
Is
got to
it?
use one at some point, because the campaign's
Oh.
over in like 25 minutes.
Mine.
I'll use mine.
Well, I was planning on having like a Men in Black eat me scene here, and then once he does so, then I'll do mine. But
Okay.
Go for it, Tarnished.
Okay.
I'll
There you
do
go.
that then.
So you run up. All right. You're trying to get it to eat you. All right.
Yeah, this is gonna be like Men in Black, where it eats him and then he blasts it from the inside.
Why don't you go attack it then? Kill, wild, dangerous. We'll see what happens.
Perfect. Too bad I can't technology that. Hey, it's a
You
success.
do manage to get it right on its snout as the snout begins to open like a giant. It's like this giant maw. Roll your damage.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that additional 1d6, which is full freaking 6, of course, of stress, to make it piercing. I assume he's twice my size at least. Oh, look at that. 4 piercing damage.
Okay. So
He's dead.
he just deflates. That's it. And you
And
guys
it's just
win.
an
Yeah.
inflatable crocodile.
This thing's gonna it's gonna stomp down on you. You see its mouth open and it just closes in on Tarnished. I'm
Jump
gonna
in.
say, however, though, because this thing does have spread on its attack, Morthos will take 4 points of blood damage as it kind of knocks you off kilter. As you can see,
Don't
Tarnished
worry.
gets swallowed up inside of it.
If he's right next to me, I'll push him back and I'll take his 4 points of blood damage too.
Inside Tarnished, you see it's just dark in here. It's just incredibly dark. You feel the roof of this mouth kind of squishing down at you. You can feel the tongue kind of trying to swallow you down. Like you've been inside creatures before like this. This isn't anything new.
You're Pinocchio.
But
yeah, this is part of normal life, right?
you can feel the saliva of this creature beginning to just utterly eat away at your armor. You can see your shield's already beginning to decay, kind of rust down. You can feel it getting lighter and lighter. What do you want to do?
Last train.
Okay, let's describe what happens.
Last train arrives at your current position by the most direct and destructive route, destroying anything in its path. You are killed when this ability is used, crushed under the weight of the train,
Okay.
riddled with strained energies and cooked in your armor, or burned from the occult strain.
So you
This
guys,
is why I wanted it to eat me first.
you guys watch as this. I mean, what's the most? I guess the most destructive route is
Through its head.
through its head, right? As you
You're
see
like from behind it.
Yeah.
coming, like just you guys hear this slamming against the wall. Suddenly, the shaking of the earth as this train hurtles through the wall. You can see all sorts of stone begins flying all sorts of directions, and it's moving with immense speed. And as the giant head kind of turns, you can see it breaks through a couple of its teeth and just goes right into its head. And there's now, once again, for the second time in this campaign, the head of an animal mixed with a train car. Does it say it automatically kills the creature? Or does it
It
just...
does not say it automatically kills the creature.
I'm gonna
It's
say-
open it.
Destroys it?
I
It
left
says it
it
takes the most destructive
most
destructive
way.
destructive route.
I'm gonna say you took out most of its teeth on one side of its head, and definitely it seems to be choking now on the train. But it does still seem to be in working order.
Who wants to go next? Who wants to do the next zenith? I'm
Pop
down.
mine off. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't
Do
use
it,
mine yet.
I would say after what you did with the library's consoles and stuff like that, throwing the administrator into there, I would say you have probably achieved your revenge on the library.
Okay.
I would say. Go ahead, Zerk. You're next.
All right, Zerk's gonna drop to his knees and just start screaming in agony, and hunks of flesh start flying off him onto all of you and everywhere, and blood. And he strips down to a skeleton and drops to the ground. And suddenly, all the pieces of flesh start flying back off of you and off the walls and back to Zerk, and he reforms in this giant red, sort of like angel of death. You just hear like metal screeching constantly. The walls are like bubbling and like seeping secretions. There's like the grinding of teeth is constantly heard all around you, and it's just this massive giant red angel now standing, floating where Zerk once was.
That's
Okay. And what does
I'm
he
now,
do?
I'm now an angel. I'm an
I
angel
know,
of
it's
the heart.
amazing. And what do you do?
I don't know. I was looking at angel. I don't know what it does. I have my consciousness. I have my free will,
Oh, I have.
but
all
I'm an
sorts
angel of the heart.
Yeah, I mean, what? Don't worry about mechanically. What would you do? Like just like what?
I'm just gonna unleash on this thing.
Okay.
Just go crazy, like where the train hit it, and just full force of this heart angel on it.
And you see like a whirling dervish just whirling all these kind of spectral blades. This
Pile it on the
giant red
train.
creature that, by the way, looks very similar to some of the creatures that you have all been encountering recently. Different, but
Ooh.
very similar. As you start hacking away through it, and this large animal is just getting its head just beaten to a pulp. Seems incredibly distracted, and this is certainly working. It's trying to recoil, as it's trying to pull its head back, but Zerk is just constantly chasing after it. Does anybody else want to do something?
Still up.
It's still alive. It's
Who's
still
next?
alive.
I'll
It's-
pop mine off.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's still. You can feel the entire compound, by the way, beginning to shake. The walls, as not necessarily from anything Zerk or Tarnished did, but maybe from the recoiling
Pain.
nature of this massive creature that's taken two horrible abilities. Not used to taking damage, is suddenly taking damage, and is now reacting in pain, as if the whole compound could be coming down on you soon. Morthos.
Yeah, I pop off the Herald of the Red King. The Red King appears. I call him forth. A writhing town-sized knot of jealousy and fire with big-ass scales and shit. Yeah, and he breathes some fire and kills this thing.
So not only does he show up, this huge. So in addition to Zerk, and this is just like a bigger, more massive version, of kind of like what Zerk is, and like between the two of them, they're just hacking away, carving through this piece. Like you're seeing entire chunks of scales falling off. You're seeing the teeth just being ripped out of their gums, as if they're just chopping a cucumber from one size all the way to the next, just slice after slice. You hear the most awful screams of pain and torture coming from this creature as it just begins to be hacked away at. Don't you have to roll a check now, I think, right?
I do. I have to roll a check because along with the Red King comes along the Red King's horde.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I am now going to roll an indoor occult test. And if I succeed, I am now the Red King.
Okay.
And if I fail, I get sucked up and I become one of the Red King's horde.
Okay.
Not terrible overall, I would think. I can live with that. No, I am now a member.
By 1 point.
No.
King's horde.
300
Where's our rerolls now?
300 bits for a reroll.
300
Ashley,
bits.
are you
Someone
there?
Make him the Red King.
Ashley, are you there for 300 bits? Okay. So
Yeah, I'm good with that.
in addition to this massive Red King, you see an entourage of these other versions, smaller than Zerk. Zerk is just hacking away. Morthos, you can see what's happening, but you can also feel like the eyes of this giant creature, this Red King, begin to look over in your direction as this task has been accomplished. And there's a compelling that's happening at this point as you're lured into the whirling dervish that is this swarm, this massive townside swarm. Now there's just nothing but red creatures in the room at this point. Between Zerk, between all the things that you all are tethered to, between the Red King, now Morthos, the creature does seem to try to withstand as best he can what's befallen him. But now with the third zenith thrown at it, it just deflates and it goes through these final death throes. Those death throes seem to begin to cause the infrastructure of the building itself to start to crumble. And you can see that entire chunks of the ceiling have begun to fall on those of you that are left. And that includes you, Zerk, as well, because you do still have, but you have successfully completed this. You can see, by the way, as the Red King, who just sort of emerged from whatever shadows, like the kind of echo spectral nature of it, begins to dissolve back into it, bringing Morthos along with him. What are you all doing, those of you that are still standing?
I'm sitting under a train.
I guess I'll use mine now. Adding insult to injury to the library here.
Okay.
So not only are we destroying it physically, but I want to use my Zenith ability Extinguish, where you can either kill a person, an entity, a landmark, or a concept. And the concept I want to destroy is insatiable knowledge.
Okay. This is perfect.
Which is like the point of the library.
Very much so.
I want to erase the ability to think that or have that.
That definitely seems to add to the destructive nature of the landmark right now, which is physically collapsing, but you also start to feel this sort of peculiar drain in the area, as if not just the building itself, but like its spirit, its echo is starting to twist. You know, the way in which you all can feel your physical bodies shifted and changed by the heart. The same thing is starting to happen here as the mage lights themselves begin to sort of flicker in sort of different colors. You can see the consoles begin to kind of spark in peculiar ways. You can see the creatures that you all fought on your way here, like in the room behind you, going to begin to sort of twitch as if they're suffering some sort of final blow. Duface, I think you're still here too. Is there anything you want to do? Kethras, do you die or anything from that? You're good, right? Like you're still.
So no, I die from this. Basically, I to do this, I start like assimilating this mass into a vessel, and then I kill it with myself and
On your way out, then, you're just sort of like pulling from the various laboratories, lab books, consoles. You're moving through the stacks. You're taking these giant ancient tomes. You're seeing these far more advanced science fiction codexes are beginning to sort of, as you walk past them, they're just kind of pulling together into this amorphous blob that just begins to trail you until you're out on the steps. On the top of the third floor, looking down the concourse towards the door to the heart, you can see the large adult-sized basilisk that is still dealing with those mechanical bulls, but the mechanical bulls might actually be starting to win at this point because there's this desperate confusion. It looks like a puppy in a hurricane that just is frightened
Mechanical bulls.
and doesn't know what's happening right now, as if something has happened to it. Duvesa, what are you doing throughout all of this? As you seem
Lone survivor.
So this creature is still alive.
No, it's not. It's dead.
It is dead.
No. The three say this is what I wanted. That's fair.
It ticked all the boxes that you needed ticked.
That's good enough. I liked what I saw.
So I think what I would do then, because we've got a red king, an angel, a already dead person that's now dead again. And then we have sort of the hero who brought the train to ram through this creature's head.
Right.
So I think the approach that I am going to take is perfect resurrection.
Okay. I would say you have the choice. I would say Morthos has been taken, like literally taken and dragged away. Zerk's not dead, just transformed. So I would say you would have a choice between Kethras and Tarnished.
Yeah. I think I'll go Tarnished.
Yeah. So as Kethras is moving up, and you can see him like he has just become something else at this point, and all of these things are beginning to follow and merge behind him. You stay behind, sift through the viscera and the broken stone. As again, everything is still falling. You're going to want to get out of here at some point. You drag Tarnished-Steel out. Not only is his arm broken, but the rest of him is broken too. Most of his armor has been like dissolved away by acid. And so what does this look like, Duvesa?
The flat Stanley right now.
So I pull him
cutout
off
version of myself.
back to kind of a quiet corner.
Okay. So I would say you would probably want to drag him all the way out of the building at this point.
I'm already dead. You can't hurt me.
Yeah. So I will drag him outside of the building, kind of set up a corner. And then I am going to take an hour to cast the spell. So I am essentially kind of informing the heart that this is an individual who sacrificed much for the heart and deserves another shot at long and essentially a life of someone that can no longer permanently die after going through this process.
It's true.
So the ritual takes an hour.
I would say you would probably drag him into the shadows because everywhere else is still either crumbling or there's like bulls and lizards fighting.
Mechanical bulls.
And when you go off into the shadows, by the way, you see just rows and rows and rows and rows of eggs. Rows and rows as far as the eye can see. But they begin to like popcorn just kind of explode every so often. As if whatever you guys have done to this giant creature has begun to cascade down through it. And the notion, perhaps, of insatiable knowledge is also beginning to kind of make it through.
So what's going to happen within a lunar month, a new copy of Tarnished-Steel-Endures is going to slide out of a little pupa somewhere in the next month.
This is how they grow.
And you will
Tarnished-Steel
be
grows on trees.
grown and cannot permanently die.
Okay.
And at the end of the hour of this spell, I am deceased.
Okay. So.
Damn. That is appreciated.
Okay. So as Kethras is walking up, you can see that his little body thing on his shoulder stays, but the kind of the red creature that was tethered to Tarnished and the red one that was tethered to Zerk have detached themselves and have begun to kind of move back through the building, or leaving Kethras behind. Zerk, they like kind of motion to you as if they're expecting you to kind of come with them at this point. They're sort of like,
which way they go? Because I'm
They're-
sucked into the heart after this situation. I now become
that's
part
where
of the
they're
heart. Is that
going.
where they're going?
They're
All
literally
right.
going to the door, and so
Fine.
yeah. So they look back, like with the carcass of the lizard. They're like looking at you as you're just like hulking over it, and they're just sort of waiting.
I say I'm trying to resist, but it's forcefully pulling me in that direction. Maybe
Okay.
ripping pieces of me over there.
Okay. And they kind of wait, and they let you lead the way. They're kind of like almost deferential in some ways to you, as if
Okay.
you're a little bigger than
Well,
they are. You look refined.
Stop resisting and just go. I'm now an angel of the heart. I'm now gonna wander around down here.
And as the three of you move through, you just pass by Kethras, who is continuing to just pull things from the shelves. The walls are starting to fold in on one another, and you walk down the stairs.
The hauled out body of Tarnished steel.
This cowering, massive like basilisk that's getting beat upon by these mechanical bulls. This herd of mechanical bulls that just seems to part for the three of you as you walk down the hall, and as you get to the end of the concourse where that multicolored stained glass door is, you can see it begins to kind of pulse as the lights begin to emerge, as it powers once more, and eventually the door opens up, and there's orange kind of gaseous like portal, and they are looking at you like waiting, and then
After you.
as if-
Yeah, I go in. I fly in. Whatever.
and they hurry to follow. Duvesa, do you do anything after, like you said it's an hour, right?
It's an hour, and the exertion of the chanting of the spell kills me.
Okay. So your body comes to in some small section of this massive hatchery, and the interesting thing is that the hatchery itself has got this kind of luscious soil, and it's sort of built up out of dirt, and these little vines begin to kind of grow out of you and sort of take root here and there, and you can see that in place of where these eggs have exploded, these blossoms begin, these brambles and blooms begin to sort of show here, and it's dark and kind of twisted, but nonetheless. So Morthos, you are part of a massive army at this point. You, interestingly enough, end in a similar place as Zerk, not necessarily into the center of the heart where these creatures are, but you do find yourself in some kind of fracture very similar to the heart itself, kind of surrounded by these other folks like yourself who have pushed too far into the occult, but you're in the court of the Red King. This isn't so bad. He's kind of a hard ass here and there, you know.
I'll take that. That sounds pretty cool.
It's okay.
Some
Yeah.
jackass summons me to come and fight a giant lizard creature every now and then, and you all gotta come with me.
Yeah. And
That's fine.
I like to think that the last scene of our little campaign is this little shadowy growing version of Tarnished would suddenly burst out of some pupa in the garden in Hallow where all the rabbits were when you were attacking and you ran away.
That'd be fantastic.
And there's the witch Bette Midler ready there for you with a bag of rabbit heads to bring you back to yourself again. Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of the last image there.
Yeah, I
Nice.
love that. I did
That was
not
cool.
anticipate that.
Yeah,
I was thinking I should be the first one out, and that was it. But
you were the first one out.
I
Yeah.
didn't
You were.
expect to be brought back, so that
You
was,
survived.
exciting.
I
did
know
not
Melissa
expect to be the last-
Survived.
I
Yeah.
didn't expect to be the last one in. Either.
It's not the same, by the way. Like you are not yourself. Like if we
Yeah,
were to
sure.
if we were to follow the story of Tarnished, it's gonna be kind of twisted and strange. Who could never die and kind of but yeah,
Yeah.
you're still alive, so that's cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome.
So that
Nice.
is the campaign. Then no one quite makes it out, but some of you have some interesting futures. Zerk in his angelic form, more advanced form of these more primitive red giant type creatures who occupy the center of the heart. Morthos is part of this endless massive army that can sweep through at any point these places in the heart itself. Tarnished gets to live on in existence. Duvesa is slowly taking over this destroyed landmark. And Kethras destroyed an idea. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, you just destroy an idea. It's completely gone. The idea for insatiable knowledge. So, all right. So that is Heart. What do we think? What do we think of Heart?
That's pretty
Finally
wonderful.
got to die too.
Yeah.
That was
He
pretty
would
wonderful.
have
It was,
flat out refused being resurrected.
Very cool.
Yeah.
it was nice to choose how to die.
Right.
I guess
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
best way to put it.
Yeah.
Blaze of Glory.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like the concept.
It was kind of satisfying, like to not just like I'm gonna go and get into a fight that I can't win to die. It was like I'm gonna go into a fight that I can't win, but I'm gonna do something on my way there
Mhm.
Yeah.
by my own choosing.
Yeah.
I like how free it is.
Yeah, I thought one of you might use one of the abilities on the big one outside. I'm like, okay, one of them will use it here, and then we'll go inside. And then I'm like, all right.
I wouldn't have been blinded. I was planning on it.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Well, I thought about hitting him with the train too, but when we had our herd of mechanical bulls, and it worked out that we could work around them.
Yeah.
I love
I
that.
thought about managing that room if we had to, but we were able to successfully get out of it without me using it. So then I was like, okay, I won't use it now and I'll save it for later.
I love that the bulls came back in the end. I love that an animal mixing with a train car came back in the end. All that just sort of returned again. Everything's back. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Cool. I really like how there's no canon for what the heart is. Like, it can be literally whatever you want it to be.
That's pretty cool.
And so
That's
I lean
nice.
heavy sci-fi because I just like sci-fi body horror, and that's just sort of where I went with it.
That
So
was
cool.
enjoyable for me. So
I really like
Fun.
certain components of this game. I really like the delve mechanics a lot. Like, I'm a big
Oh
fan.
yeah, the delves are great. I'm
I'm-
going to be stealing that.
I
a
love the
lot.
way skills work in this. The
Me too.
whole domain and skill. I think
Love
that's
the
an
combo.
awesome idea.
I've
Well,
started.
we've been seeing a lot of stuff like that, like in the Fate games and then in Cortex last night. So it's
I think it might be a PBTA thing. Like, I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
This is really the only. I've read some others, but this is the first I've really ever played. So it might be that.
yeah.
The delve stuff, I've already written up my own little version of rules for Zweihander to start using in some of the Zweihander games. Like, kind of an expansion of the wilderness travel rules, kind of like a little marriage of those two things. So having fun with that, kind of messing with that a bit.
that could be
delve.
pretty fun.
Yeah.
Because we've
Yeah.
already kind of lifted wilderness travel for almost every other game we play in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the delve stuff is actually pretty unique and fun too.
I think the way it does items is also great. How
Yeah.
it's not just tracking GP and you don't have this crazy long list of like, do I have 35 gold to buy this? And
Yeah.
you know, it's so much nicer to just do the die sizes and
I like
everything's
how
like in tiers.
it's like to me it's a good balance between like there being like actual mechanisms for things like but it's not too rules heavy, but it's also not too wide open, and so like there's enough structure to some of the things so that it doesn't feel just like whimsical and like anyone can do anything. But like there's it's got to be earned, but at the same time it's not restrictive. So
Right.
yeah it's
There's
pretty
a
cool.
good balance. The way that the tags fill in all the gaps on a lot of that.
Well, next time I run this, I'm going to use the Sanctum. I don't know when I'm going to do it, but next time I run this, I'm going to use the Sanctum rules, and I'm going to make it more localized and start to explore landmarks and haunts a little bit more, and like building
So
up a
focus
landmark.
more on like a location rather than
As a
the vast
having
space.
like a hub to come back to and care about
be
and stuff
kinda
like
neat.
that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's next time. But all right, so let's close it down. So next week on the channel, some of us, I'm not sure if everyone, we're not all committed yet, we're figuring it out, but we're going to be starting Vessin as a free league game. So we're going to be giving that a try for a little while. Different kind of game. It's like more mystery solving with monsters and stuff. If you ever seen the TV show Grimm or like Once Upon a Time or something like that, kind of got some, but in the 1800s in Sweden. So we're going to be messing around with that. We're going to do session 0 next week, make some characters, do some world building, establish some threads, stuff like that. So come check us out, same time here. And then last quick plug for what you got this week. Defenders, what days?
We'll be Wednesday with some Dungeon Crawl Classics on Defenders.
Mhm.
Friday, we'll be over on Zweihander RPG for some Zweihander. Saturday, we'll be back on Defenders with some more Dungeon Crawl Classics. And actually, I forgot, Sunday, I'll be over on TT2KB for some more Zweihander.
Nice.
So-
Defenders, or not Defenders, Grim and Perilous, sorry.
Yeah, over on twitch.tv/ZweihanderRPG, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time with Zweihander. And Thursday is super secret MCC.
It is.
I just
I'm
got to play
excited for that,
MCC too. I finally got into one last.
So fun.
Did you like it?
Oh yeah, I love the setting. Are you kidding?
It's good.
It's great.
I love the Gonzo setting.
It's so
Yeah.
bonkers. Okay, cool. And then we're on Thursday on twitch.tv /Zweihander RPG at 7 Pacific, 9 Eastern, or 9 Central, excuse me. And then Friday, I think back here around 6 Pacific or so, we should be doing a second part of our Electric Bastionland game.
Bastionland. Yep.
Check out our podcast. Just look for Adventures in Lollygagging. And if you liked Heart, if you've been watching these videos, whether you've been watching them live or watching them later, go buy it. It's Rowan, Rook, and Deckard. It's a really cool game. You can get physical copy, PDF, stuff like that. All of that's out there. It's a sort of semi-sequel to Spire, which is another cool game to take a look at. It's not as horror-driven, but it's the similar mechanics. So definitely take a look at it. They make some cool stuff because we played some of their Goblins and stuff game as well, Goblin Quest. So
Very fun also.
yeah. But that is it for tonight. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next week with a new game.
Thanks,
Bye,
everybody.
everybody.
Bye.
Have a good night.